Okay, so to start, just start kind of standing at the end of your mat or the back side of your mat, whatever you like, however you like to say, but with a nice wide stance. So think about stepping your feet really wide to the outer edges of your mat. We're going to start with our gentle shirt sleeve twist, or I forget what it's called in Tai Chi. Oh, knocking on heaven's door. So make little fists and little tap to the hips. And just start to kind of move into the ankles. Let your knees move gently with you, and let your hips and your spine move gently with you. And then here, just start to think of this as a little bit of gathering of information, noticing how your body's feeling, noticing your energy level, noticing where your mind is at this morning. Now, if you can, take those twists and sort of bring the hands to sort of circle around the waist or around the ribs. So we want to bring a little tap to the waist, a little tap to the ribs. Nice, and then see if you can take it over the shoulder. So one arm's going to throw over the shoulder and then the other. Great, and then start to bring those hands back down. So find your waist. And then let those hands start to soften down and find the hips again. Cool, and then let that all come to stillness. Let your arms just kind of hang nice and heavy at your sides. Let your knees be soft. No need to effort in your stance here. Just tune in for a minute and just notice. You might feel a little bit of warmth in your body. Take a nice deep breath in. Nice slow breath out. And now with your eyes closed, if you can, no worries if you can't, but start to step your feet in so that they're about hip width distance apart. And what we want to try to achieve with our eyes closed is to line our big toes up. So we just want to start to notice if we can find that sense of a nice even stance without looking down at our toes. And then once you feel like you've got it, open your eyes, look down at your feet and see if you found a nice little bit of alignment, big toes lined up. I'm standing a little crooked, so that'll give you some sense of where I'm at this morning. And then once you found that nice hip width distance apart, toes lined up, inhale, just lift your arms up and overhead. Let the elbows be kind of soft, and exhale, let your hands float right through heart center. Hands come down at your sides. Inhale, arms raise up, look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. One more just like that. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Stay here for a second. Let your eyes close down. Let your chin tuck down. And then take a moment here to set an intention, to honor your mind and your body throughout your practice. Never doing anything in your practice that would cause your body pain, and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. And then with that intention set, gently open your eyes, let your hands just kind of relax at your sides. We're going to work into the right foot. So we're just going to lift the right heel up and take a couple of gentle circles with that right ankle. You can let your arms be wherever feels comfortable. So let them rest on your hips or just let them hang at your sides, doesn't matter. And then take that foot and twirl it in the other direction. Nice. And then if you can, stay standing on that left foot. We're just going to pick the right knee up, maybe draw a couple of circles. So work into your hip just a little bit. Doesn't need to be big or anything. Just we want to circle around that hip, go the other way. Notice where your balance is at here. Nice. And then set that foot down, shift your weight to your right foot, heel your left heel up. Big toe stays on the ground. And we're going to circle that left ankle, go in one direction. Hands can do whatever your hands like. Nice, and then circle your foot the other way. Awesome, and then keeping your weight on that right foot, pick your left knee up and draw a couple of nice big circles. Beautiful, and then circle the other way. And then just get a sense of where your balance is at on this foot. Wonderful, and then step your feet both down to the ground, take a nice big breath, reach your arms up, look up to the sky. Think about a gentle back bend here. So just a little press forward of the hips. Notice how your spine's feeling this morning. And then as you exhale, we're gonna soften that all. Tuck your chin to your chest, bend your knees a lot. Start to roll down towards the ground. So a nice rounding of the back side of the body, soft knees, everything nice and soft. And we're gonna come down into extended child's pose or child's pose, whichever version you like best. So come on down, big toes together, knees out wide or knees together, that'll be up to you. And then bring your butt back to your heels and let everything settle in for a few. Let your belly, your chest, your forehead soften down, and think about letting your arms be soft and loose here. So maybe you'll walk them out nice and wide or to any comfortable distance, and then let go of any efforting in the arms. And then as you come into this position, take a moment to just settle in, work out any little wiggles, check in, make sure everything feels like it's in a good space. So if you need to make any space for your hip creases, make any adjustments for your knees, your toes, your ankles, take the time to do it and then let your body settle back in. And then see if you can start to tune into your breath here, just watching your inhale and watching your exhale, and hopefully breathing in through the nose and out through your nose. Take 1 or 2 more breaths here. And then we're going to stay low, but if your knees are together, think about widening them just a little bit to offer a little bit of a wider base of support. We're going to start to walk the hands over and off the left side of the mat. Right hand's going to stack on top of the left if that feels right. Let your elbows sink down. Now we're reaching a little bit through the arms, so there's a little bit of efforting in the top half of the body. And notice the right side ribs and down towards the right side hips. So just take a nice big breath into the right side of your body. One more breath. And then we'll walk through center and over and off the other side. So arms are going to walk over to the right side, left hand stacks on top of the right if that feels good. Elbows get heavy, forehead sinks down, and then tune into the left side of your body and see if you can just notice the breath in the ribs, notice the breath down in the low back side body. Take one more breath here. Nice. And then when you're ready, walk it back through center. We're going to lift up in tabletop position, walk your knees in. So now they'll be in line with the hips, wrists in line with the shoulders. And then take a second to just look down at your hands, spread your fingers nice and wide. Then we're going to take some little wrist push-ups. So we're going to spread the fingers, press into the fingertips, and just lift your wrists away from the floor. And it doesn't matter how high they go. You might not even get a wrist lift at all, but we're just going to start to tune in. Notice your fingers, notice your palms, notice your wrists, and just feel that little bit of energetic lift. So if the wrists don't lift completely off the ground, don't worry about that, but finding that lifting up sensation. So maybe think about finding that hasta bandha, that lift up from the palm or the center of your hand. So just tune into your hands and just move in a way that feels right to you. Nice. Take one more little wrist lift there and then let the wrist come down. Wiggle out your fingers. Just make sure everything feels good. Move right into a cat and cow breath. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale and round your back. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale, round your back. One more just like that. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale, round your back. And now we're going to add on. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tail, tuck the toes under, keep the belly drop, take 3 nods of the head up and down. So we just floss through the spine here. Cool, and then release your toes, pull the abdominal muscles in, pull your bum back to your heels, get a little stretch through the top half of the body, take a nice big breath. And then on your next inhale, lift back up, curl the toes under, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tail, keep the belly down, take 3 nods of your head here. Awesome. And then finding that neutral position, release the toes, pull the abdominal muscles in, pull the butt back to the heels, reach through the arms, take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then come forward. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tail, curl the toes under, keep the belly down, keep the toes curled under, take 3 nods of the head. Nice. And then find that neutral place, pull the abdominal muscles in, release your toes, pull your bum back to your heels, take a nice big inhale. Nice slow exhale. On your next inhale, come back to tabletop position. We're going to slide the right foot back, curl the right toes under, take a couple of rocks forward and back just to wake up the heel and the calf. Nice. Now we're going to keep that right leg extended out, but bring your shoulders back in line with your wrists. We're going to lift that leg up, and we're just going to take a couple of gentle bends of the knees. So think about bringing your heel toward your bum and then pressing the heel away. And see if you can keep your hips nice and stable, shoulders nice and stable, belly nice and firm. And then just see if you can tune in and notice that little bit of engagement in the hamstring or that muscle in the back of the thigh. Nice. And now the next time that heel extends out, press out through the heel, firm up your center. Think about drawing your abdominal muscles up and then reaching your opposite hand forward. So left hand, right arm reaching out. Take a nice big breath here. Beautiful. Float everything back down. Take a little bop of the hips just to soothe that all out. And then bring your bum back to center, and we're going to take it to the other side. So left leg is going to slide back, toes curled under. Take a couple of rocks forward and back. Nice. And then the next time your shoulders come in line with the wrist, stay there. Keep that left leg extended. Lift it up, and we're going to take a couple of bends of the knee. So bringing that heel toward your bum and then pushing the heel away. Finding some stability in the shoulders and the hips. A little firmness in your center. Beautiful. And then the next time that heel reaches out, press out through the heel. See if you can extend that right arm out. So left leg, right arm. So opposite hand, opposite foot, reaching out, firming up your center, reaching nice and long. Take one more breath. Beautiful. And then float it all down, bop your hips out. Nice. And then bring your hips back to center. We're going to keep our hips in line with the knees right into puppy pose or heart melting pose. So reach your arms forward, drop your chest and forehead down, make any space that you need to for your shoulder blades. So if you need to walk your hands a little bit wider, do your thing. Take one more breath. And then slowly start to walk yourself back up into tabletop position. We're going to reach the right hand up nice and high towards the sky. Thread that right hand through and underneath. Right ear, right shoulder to the ground. Press into your left hand so the left shoulder draws up just a little bit. Take one nice big breath here. And then press into your left hand. Lift yourself back up to tabletop position, and we'll take it right to the other side. Left hand's going to reach up nice and high, make some space, and then reach that left hand through and underneath. Left ear, left shoulder to the ground. Press into your right hand, draw that right shoulder up and back. Take a nice big breath here. Beautiful. Press into your right hand, float your way up into a tabletop position. And then from here, we're going to come down into our Sphinx pose. So bring elbows and forearms down. Walk your feet to the back edge of your mat and then slowly lower your belly onto the ground with control. And then once you found your way down, take a second to release your toes, wiggle out your bum, make sure your shoulders feel like they're in a good position. We want to line our elbows up with the shoulders-ish. Fan your fingers out. Think about energetically pulling the elbows back towards the ribs so we find a little engagement in the upper back body. Shoulder blades squeezing together, hip bones pressing into the earth. Pressing up through the crown of your head. Take a nice deep inhale. Nice slow exhale. One more breath. Beautiful. And now we're going to release those elbows nice and wide so we can lower the belly down. Take a second to just shake out your tush. Make sure your low back feels happy. And then bring your hands alongside your shoulders. We're going to move into some low cobras here. So inhale, lift your heart up just a little bit. Exhale and soften down. Inhale and lift up. Exhale, soften down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, soften down. Awesome. And then stack your hands. Let your forehead rest on your hands. And we're going to take it down into the feet. So reach long through the right toes. Pull the toes away from you as far as you can. Pull them so far that they start to lift up away from your mat. And then lengthen as you lift up just as high as feels comfortable. And then lengthen as you lower down. And then take it over to the other foot. Reach long through the left toes. Pull those toes so far away from you that they start to lift away from the mat, and then lengthen as you lift up. Beautiful. And then lengthen as you lower down. Nice. Give your heels a little soft shake. Loosen up your tush, loosen up your hips. And then we're going to come back to that right leg. So head resting wherever it's the most comfortable. Reach long through the right toes. Pull those toes away from you. Lift and lengthen up. Lengthen and lower down. Take it over to the left. Lengthen through the toes, pull the toes away from you, lift and lengthen up. Beautiful, lengthen and lower down. And then once you're down, shake out your heels, soften up your tush, relax your thighs. Nice, and now we're gonna come back to that Sphinx position with the top half of the body, but start by taking the right knee up into a little tree pose position. So bringing the knee up in line with the hip, heel coming in towards your inner thigh, and then prop yourself up onto your elbows. Elbows in line with the shoulders, spread your fingers, pull your elbows back toward your ribs, lift your chest, squeeze between the shoulder blades, press up through the crown of your head, take a nice big inhale. Nice, and then slowly release. Walk your elbows wide, slide your right leg, bend both knees, take a little shimmy of the heels side to side. And then we're going to take it over to the other side. So float your toes down to the ground, slide your left leg up and in, finding that tree position on the other side, and then prop yourself up on your elbows. Elbows are going to walk in line with the shoulders. Fan your fingers, pull the elbows in towards the ribs, squeeze between the shoulder blades, lift through the crown of the head. Beautiful. Release that just a little bit. Walk your elbows wide, soften down, slide that left leg back, give everything a little soft shake. And then we're going to come through that Sphinx one last time. So bring those elbows back in line with the shoulders, fan the fingers, hug the elbows in towards the ribs, lift through the crown of the head, and then pressing into the palms. Only if this feels safe and comfortable, you're going to take it into a seal position. So you're going to press into the palms, start to let the elbows lift away from the floor, come into that bigger back bend, but only go as far as feels good to you. Take one good breath. Beautiful. And then soften everything down. Start to find your way up into a tabletop position. Knees in line with the hips, wrists in line with the shoulders. And take a couple of cat and cows here just to soothe that spine. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tail. Exhale, round your back. Nice. One more cycle of breath. And then we're going to take this tabletop position and make it hover. So curl your toes under, pick your knees up, finding a little strength in your center. So once we've stretched through the backside of the body, now we want to just kind of strengthen it up a little bit. The best thing we can do for our low back is to keep our center nice and strong. So take one more moment here, finding that strength in your center. Beautiful. And then when it feels good, start to lift up into a downward facing dog shape and start to pedal out your legs or find any movement here that feels good to you. Nice. Take one more pedal of each leg. And then when you feel ready, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a little folded ragdoll at the top of your mat. Feet about hip or shoulder width distance apart. Make some space for your belly and your chest. Soften your knees a lot. And then if it feels really good to you here, grab your elbows, let your head dangle. And then just give yourself a moment here to tune back into your breath. Notice your inhalation. Notice your exhalation. Take one more breath. Relax your fingers towards the earth, bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, nice and strong from your navel center, round and roll up to standing. And then take a second as you come on up to get yourself all situated. Fix your clothes, fix your hair, give everything a good little wiggle, make sure everything's feeling okay. And we're gonna come into a balance right away. So we're gonna shift our weight onto our left foot, pick your right knee up just to a level that feels comfortable, does not have to be extreme. But now we're gonna rotate the torso towards the standing legs. You're gonna turn towards the left. You might feel a little wobble in your ankle. You might feel a little bit of a wobble in your knee. You wanna make sure it feels like a safe wobble. Firm your center up, grow just a little bit taller. Take one more moment. And then rotate back towards that front knee. Set your right foot down. Give your knees a little pedal. Shake it all out. And then we're going to take it to the other side. So shift your weight onto your right foot. Pick up your left knee. Rotate towards your right leg. Nothing extreme. It doesn't have to be fancy, but tune in. Notice you might feel your ankle wobble, knee a little bit wobbly. Make sure it feels like a safe wobble. Sweet. And then rotate back to center. Float that left foot down and give your heels a little pedal. Nice. And now we're going to line our feet up. So think about sliding your left foot forward so that it's right in front of the right. So let me switch that. Sliding the left foot forward so it's right in front of the right. So toes are lined up like you're walking on a railroad track. And then if that feels like it's too unstable, bend your knees a lot, ground yourself down. And then once you feel like you've found a little foundation at your feet, now start to press into the feet. Lift your arms up and overhead. Lift yourself up and out of that wobble. Take a nice big inhale. Slow exhale. Beautiful. And then float your hands down. Step your left foot off. Give everything a little bounce, a little shake. And then we're going to take it to the other side. So we're going to step the right foot in front of the left, lining up our feet like we're on railroad tracks. And then bend your knees so you find that foundation down at your feet. And once you feel like you found it, press into the feet. Lift up nice and strong. Raise your arms up alongside your ears. Pull yourself up and away from the ground. Beautiful. And then float your hands down. Step that foot off. Give everything a nice little shake. And then find your mountain pose at the top of your mat. Feet about hip or shoulder distance apart. Anchor into your feet. Press up through the top of your head and drop your shoulders down. Take a nice big breath. Inhale, raise your arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold down. Hinge from your waist if you can. Touch the ground. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Bend your knees. Pull your abdominal muscles in. Roll on up through the spine. Roll the shoulders around, down, and back. Inhale, raise your arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Bend your knees a lot. Pull your abdominal muscles in. Round and roll all the way on up. Roll the shoulders around, down, and back. One more just like that. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Pull the abdominal muscles in, round and roll all the way up to standing. Roll the shoulders around, down, and back. Swim your hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers here. Draw the knuckles towards the heel so we just get that little squeeze or engagement between the shoulder blades, a little opening in the chest and the collarbones. Keep your belly slightly firm, just so you're not splaying everything forward. So we want to keep a nice control in our center. And then once you feel like you found a little squeeze in the shoulder blades, opening in the collarbones, lift your chin up to the sky. Take a nice big breath. Take one more breath. Nice, and then we're gonna release our interlace of the fingers and right away, reach your arms up and overhead, grab that imaginary beach ball in the sky. Exhale, sink into a little chair, just a little bend of the knees, pull the butt down and back. Beautiful, inhale, raise up. And then exhale, float right back down into your chair. Inhale, rise up. Exhale as you lower, just tune in or even look down, look at your knees and just make sure that they're keeping a nice even distance, nice and steady. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, keep that, maintain that distance between the knees, pull the butt down and back. Beautiful. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower down, and this time we're gonna stay here. So find a chair position that feels comfortable. Think about drawing your tailbone energetically towards the ground, finding a little bit of engagement in the center. And then once you feel like you found it, shift your weight over to your left foot. Peel your right heel up. Can you pick that right knee up or off the ground? And then set it down. Shift your weight onto your right foot. Peel your left heel up. Can you pull that foot away from the ground? And then set it down. Nice. And then find that nice even position in your chair. Swim your hands behind the back. Keep reaching through the crown of the head. And we're going to lift the heels away from the floor, reaching energetically through the fingertips. Nice steady legs. Take one more breath. Beautiful. Float the heels down. Inhale, raise all the way up. Exhale, fold everything down to the ground. Nice. And then take a couple of pedals of the legs here. So bend one knee and then the other. Let your hips just kind of wiggle around in any way they like. Sweet. And then we're going to walk our hands up towards our thighs. So we're going to kind of find that half forward fold position. We want to find a nice 7 shape with the body. So nice long line out through the crown of the head, tailbone reaching towards the end of your mat, a little firmness in your center. And then we're just going to nod the head up and down here. So back to that flossing of the spine. Great. One more nod of the head up and down here. And then we're going to walk our hands towards our shins. So we're just going to come a little bit lower, a little bit longer through the spine, and then come back to that nod of the head up and down. Beautiful. And now we're going to walk down just a little bit further. So maybe down towards the bottoms of the shins, or you can touch the ground. And then keeping that nice long line to the best of your ability, lift and lower the head a couple times here. Awesome. And then the next time your chin tucks down, bend your knees, tuck your chin even further, pull your abdominal muscles in strong from your navel center, round and roll all the way back up to standing. Let the chin be the last thing that lifts. Right hand's going to touch the thigh, left hand's going to reach up alongside your ear. Take a side bend over to the right. On your next inhale, lift up, float that left hand down to the thigh. Right hand reaches up alongside your ear. Take a side bend over to the left. Beautiful. On your next inhale, lift up one more time. Float those hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers. Draw the knuckles towards the heels. Maybe go just a little further away from the back side of the body this time, finding a bigger opening in the chest and the collarbones. Lift your chin up to the sky. And then if it feels really good to find that little extra stretch, push your lips up towards the sky like you're kissing the sky, finding that little stretch underneath your chin as well. Take one more breath. Nice. And then when you're ready, release, find your mountain pose. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, fold down, knees bent or straight, totally up to you. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, step both feet back to down dog. Keeping in that down dog position, but we're gonna move in through our heels. So think about keeping your heels lifted up and then pivot your heels over to the right. Once your heels are over to the right, press your heels down, press into your arms, pressing your heart toward your thighs. Take a nice big breath. Awesome, then pick up your heels, pivot them over the other way. So heels are gonna come over to the left, press into your arms, pressing your heart toward your thighs. Nice, and then pick up your heels back to center. We're gonna lower the knees down to the ground, come into your version of child's pose you like best. Big toes together, knees wide, or big toes together, knees together, totally up to you. Pull your butt back to your heels. Give a second here to just let everything find its way into a nice comfortable position. And then let your head soften down, tune back into your breath for a moment. Take one more breath here. And then on your next inhale, start to lift your way up into a tabletop position, walking your knees in if they're out nice and wide. Curl the toes under, lift up to downward facing dog. Press into the heels, heart melts towards the thighs. Take one good breath. Lovely. And then look forward, walk, step, or hop your feet up to the top of your mat into a forward fold position. Inhale to a half forward fold. Keep all that length. Bend your knees, push into your feet, raise your arms up. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. And as it is 7:30, if you got to get on with the rest of your day, hope that it's amazing. But if you're sticking around, we're going to pick up the pace just a little bit. So find your mountain pose at the top of your mat. Anchor into your feet, lift up to the top of your head. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold it down. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Step the right leg back, warrior two position. Drop the heel, turn the toes out. Take that right hand and lift yourself up. Nice. And then just adjust that front leg. Make sure everything feels good. Ribs fairly in line with the hips, arms reaching out. Now we're going to find that pada bandha, that lift from the soles of your feet. So think about pulling your big toe towards your heels, lift up from the soles of the feet, and then draw that energy up the legs, up the side body, out through the fingertips. Gaze forward, take a nice big breath. Beautiful. Now straighten that front leg. We're going to pivot both toes to the right side of the mat, finding a nice wide stance. From here, a little softness in the knees, a little hinge at your waist. Hinge yourself all the way down to the ground. Hands touch the ground. And now we're going to find a little sway side to side. Bend one knee and then the other. Nice. One more little sway side to side. And then come to that center position, hands still on the ground. See if you can walk your hands through your legs, past your heels. Get a little reach through the fingers. Let the crown of your head drop down. Take a nice big breath in. Nice slow breath out. Lovely. And then walk your hands forward, soften your knees. We're going to roll on up into a 5-pointed star position. So pull the abdominal muscles in and reach the arms up and out nice and wide. Fan the fingers, lift from the soles of the feet, up the side body, out through the fingertips. Shine nice and bright. Take one good breath. Beautiful. And then we're going to bend the knees just a little bit, hinge from the waist, float those hands down to the ground. And now we're going to walk ourselves back around to the top of the mat. So rotate those feet, pivot around, find a runner's lunge here. So heart forward, look forward, take a breath. Beautiful. And then plant the palms, step back to a plank. Nice. We're going to bring the knees down and take 3 yogi push-ups here. So elbows are going to hug into the ribs. Bend your elbows just as much as you like, and then push your way up nice and strong. Beautiful. Keep that nice firm center. Elbows drawing into the ribs. Push your way back up. One more just like that. Bend those elbows. Go just as far as you can control. Push your way back up. Lovely. And then release down to the ground with control. Once you found your way down, give everything a little soft shake. Shake out your bum, wiggle out your shoulders, make sure everything feels good. We're going to bend that right knee and then see if you can reach your right hand back. Catch hold of that foot. Hug the heel in towards your bum. Heart forward, look forward, take a nice big breath. Beautiful. Release that foot with control and take it over to the other side. Bend that left knee. See if you can reach your left hand back, catch hold of that foot. Hug it in just as far as feels comfortable. Heart forward, look forward, take a breath. Nice. And then release that foot. Curl the toes under. We're going to find a little strength here. Power your way up to a plank if you can, or take it into a tabletop if that feels better. And then find your way up to downward facing dog. Look forward. Walk, step, or hop your feet up to the top of your mat, finding a forward fold position. Nice. Bend your knees, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll all the way up to standing, roll the shoulders around, down and back, come into your mountain pose. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold down. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Left leg's going to step back. We'll find warrior two to the other side. Toes turn out. Left hand spins you up. Take a second to just find your way there. And then just make sure that front knee feels good. Ribs fairly in line with the hips. Finding that energetic lift from the soles of the feet, up the legs, up the side body, out through the fingertips. Look past your right hand. Take a nice big breath. Awesome. Now from here, straighten that front leg, pivot your toes. So both toes are going to turn to the left side of the mat. We're going to bring the prayer hands together at the heart center here and start to find a little side to side lunge. So it might feel better for you to turn your toes out slightly. That might feel like a safer position to the knees. Just check in, find what feels the best to your body. Nice. Take one more little bend side to side. And then bring it back to center. And now we're going to pigeon the toes in. So if you had the toes turned out slightly, turn them in slightly, soften your knees, hinge from your waist, fold down to the ground. Let your head drop nice and heavy here. Let everything go. Let your spine relax, let your shoulders relax. Let go of any efforting if you can. One more breath here with no effort. Cool, and then we're gonna soften up just a little bit in the knees and walk your hands forward. So we wanna think about as if your body is coming into a downward dog position with the top half of the body. So we're gonna keep our legs nice and wide, walk your hands, reach them out nice and wide, and then press into the palms, push back into your bum, let your heart drop down, take a nice big breath. Beautiful, and then walk it back in. We're gonna walk over towards the left foot. Let your nose drop towards your knee. Walk over towards your right foot. Let your nose drop towards your knee. Nice. Bring it back to center. Bend your knees a lot. Pull your abdominal muscles in. Roll all the way up. Find that 5-pointed star position. Shine nice and bright. Lift everything up. And then hinge from the waist. And we're going to come to that halfway point. And now we're going to reach the arms out. And I'm going to turn just so I can face you. Reach your arms out nice and long. And then we're going to keep that nice long position. Strong in the back side of the body. Pull the elbows back like you're making that nice W shape. And then reach your arms long, but keep that nice long spine. Beautiful. Pull the elbows back, gazes down at the floor. Reach your arms long. Nice, one more like that. Pull the elbows back, keep that nice long spine. Reach your arms forward, beautiful. And then from here, we're gonna soften everything down, soften your knees, pivot back around to the top of your mat, find your runner's lunge. Beautiful, plant the palms, step back to a plank. Nice, bring your knees down, 3 yoga push-ups here, elbows bend towards the ribs. Nice long planking spine, push your way back up. Beautiful, bend your elbows, go just as far as you can control, push your way back up. One more just like that, beautiful. Nice, and then with control, lower yourself down onto your belly. Once you've got your way down, take a second, shake out your bum, wiggle out your spine, shimmy out your shoulders. We're gonna bend both knees, take a little swish of the heels side to side. Awesome, and then keeping your right knee bent, but float your left toes down to the ground. Reach your right hand back, catch hold of that foot. From here, we're gonna see if we can just push the foot gently into the hands. So think about a dancer position. Your knee is gonna maybe lift away from the floor just a little bit, keeping your heart forward if you can. Take one more breath. Lovely, and then release that all down. Let go of that foot, let it float down with control. Bend your left knee, reach your left hand back, see if you can catch hold of the top of the foot or the ankle. Heart forward, push your foot into your hand and let that left knee lift slightly away from the floor. Nice, and then release with control. Let the foot float down. Awesome, hands alongside the shoulders. Take one cobra here. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, lower down. From here, push your way up into a tabletop position. And then like we were in that spinal balance, so we're gonna slide the right leg back, left hand forward, lifting up, and then see if you can bend that right knee, reach your left hand back, and find your foot. Nice, and then once you've got hold of that foot, if it feels available, you're gonna push your foot into your hand and open up just a little bit more. Nice, release with control, reach it out nice and long, and then float it all down. Take a second, bop out your hips, and then we're gonna take that to the other side. So left leg is gonna extend out, right hand is gonna reach forward, lift up. If it feels available, you're gonna bend that left knee, reach your hand back, catch hold of the foot. And then once you've got hold of the foot, if it feels good, press your foot into your hand and open up a little bit more. Nice, let that go with control. Float it all down. Bop your hips out just a little bit. Beautiful. And then come to center, curl your toes under, exhale up to a downward facing dog. Look forward, walk, step or hop your feet up to the top of your mat. Find a little forward fold position. Bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll all the way up to standing. Roll the shoulders around, down and back. Take a moment to find your mountain pose again. Anchor into your feet, lift up through the top of your head. Inhale, arms up, look up, let the hands meet, let the chest lift, just a gentle back bend. Exhale and fold down. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, stepping the right leg back, low lunge. We're gonna bring the knee down to the ground and take 3 half splits here. So we're gonna just take a couple of rocks forward and back, but just make sure that back knee feels comfortable. Nice, and then the next time you come to half splits, pull those hips back, peel the front toes up, create a little space. So think about lifting through the chest and then sinking just a little bit further. Nose drops towards the knee, finding a little sensation, hopefully in the back of that left leg. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful, and then release forward into a low lunge. We're gonna bring the hand to the front knee, lift your chest, pull that left hip crease back, raise both arms up and overhead, take a nice big breath. And now we're gonna rotate to the left. So left hand's gonna find the hip, right hand's gonna find the left knee. Anchor against that knee, just to draw yourself a little deeper into that twist. Take one good breath. Nice, and then rotate back to center, hands down to the ground, curl the back toes under, pick your back knee up, plant your palms, step back to a plank. Lower with control, bring the knees down, hug the elbows into the ribs, lower onto your belly. Inhale up to a cobra. Exhale to lower down, curl the toes under, find your way up to downward facing dog. Right leg up into 3-legged dog, bend your knee, let your hip roll open. And then step that foot through to the top of your mat. Step it as far as it goes, help it along the rest of the way, come into a lunge, and then step that back foot up to meet. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, press firm into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up, hands meet, chest lifts, a gentle back bend. Exhale and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, left leg back, low lunge. So step that foot back to a comfort level. Knee comes down, toes tucked or release, totally up to you. Oh, 3 half splits. So release those toes. I got to keep my head together. Rock it back and forth 3 times. Great, and then the next time you come to that half split, stay there for a second. Peel those front toes up, lift the chest, make some space for yourself, lengthen through your spine, and then soften your nose towards your knee. Nice, and then when you're ready, float yourself forward into that low lunge position, hand to the knee, lift your chest, pull that hip crease back, inhale, raise both arms up, look up. Awesome, and then we're gonna rotate to the right. So left hand's gonna find the right knee, right hand's gonna find the hip. Rotate against that knee so you get a little bit of leverage. Go just a little deeper into that twist. Beautiful, and then unwind, hands down to the ground, curl those back toes under, lift the back knee up, sliding that front leg back into a plank. Bring the knees down, lower with control onto your belly. Inhale up to a cobra. Exhale to lower down. Curl the toes under, find your way up to downward facing dog. Left leg up into 3-legged dog, bend the knee, let the hip roll open. And then step that left foot through to the top of your mat into a lunge. Nice, and then step that back foot up to meet into your forward fold position. Bring your hands to your shins, find a little length in your spine, floss your head up and down 3 times. So just a lift and lower of the chin here. Beautiful, and then find that neutral place with your chin or your head. Bend your knees, float your fingers down to the ground, roll down into a little ball of yarn, pick up your heels, and then sit down onto your butt, bring the soles of the feet together, knees out to the left and to the right. So we come into our cobbler's position. Beautiful. 3 folds here. So lean forward just to your comfort level and then lift yourself right back up. Lean forward just a little bit and lift yourself back up. Lean forward this time, go just a little bit further, but we're not gonna stay. And then lift yourself right back up, help your knees come together, curl your tailbone under, roll halfway back, and then lift yourself right back up. Roll halfway back. You can always hang on to the thighs if that gives you some support, and then lift yourself back up. Nice. Roll yourself halfway back. Lift yourself right back up. And this time we're going to roll all the way down. So curl that tailbone under, slow and controlled, find your way down to the ground. Beautiful. Once you've found your way here, give a second, get yourself situated, wiggle out your tail, snuggle in your shoulders, make sure your hair and your clothes are in a comfortable position. And then we're going to come into some bridges here. So walk your heels a little closer to your bum, feet about hip width distance apart, hands down alongside the hips. We're going to start with a tiny mini bridge. So take a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, just curl your tailbone slightly away from the floor. Maybe you could slide one hand under your bum and then release back down. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, curl your tailbone up, come about 2 hands high. So now maybe you could slide 2 hands underneath your bum and then release back down. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, come up about 3 hands high. Inhale, releasing down. Readjust anything that you need to. Take your big inhale here. Exhale, roll up about 4 hands high. Inhale and release down. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, roll all the way up. So nice and high now and stay lifted up. Take a couple of nice big breaths here. See if you can find some muscular engagement in the backs of the legs and the glutes. Check your knees, and if it feels like they're dropping out, see if you can just find a little hug, a little squeeze right between the inner thighs, finding that nice long line. So you almost imagine that you're driving your knees towards your toes. So you're keeping nice and long through the tops of the thighs. Take one more inhale here. And then as you exhale, at the bottom of the exhale, can you suck your abdominal muscles in? Keep those abdominal muscles sucked in and then start to roll your spine down to the ground. And then once your hips touch down, take a big inhale, let your belly inflate. Awesome. Now we're going to take the right leg across the left, like you're crossing your legs in a chair. So one knee is going to be stacked on top of the other. Lift your knees up and then see if you can reach up and grab either the shins or the tops of your feet. The grab will be totally up to you. Pull the toes slightly away from each other and then start to draw the knees into your chest. So hopefully you'll find a little sensation down into that right glute or whichever leg you have on top. Take a nice big breath here. Now we're going to keep that cross in the legs, but release your grab and take your legs into eagle arms. So see if you, or eagle legs. So see if you can wrap your right toes underneath your left calf. Keep your legs nice and wrapped up. And now right arm is going to come under the left. We're going to wrap the arms around into an eagle position or just hold your shoulders. You're going to find the position that feels good to you. And we're going to take 3 little crunches here. So take a big inhale. And then as you exhale, pull the abdominal muscles in, pull the elbows in towards the knees. Inhale to open up. Exhale to bring it in for a squeeze. Inhale to open up. Exhale to bring it in for a squeeze. Beautiful. And then unwind your arms, unwind your legs, step your feet out nice and wide to the outer edges of your mat. Take a couple little windshield wipers here. Nice. And then when you're ready, walk your feet back in. Now left leg is going to come across the right, like you're crossing your legs in a chair. Lift those knees up and then see if you can grab either the shins or the top of the feet. The grab will be totally up to you. Pull the toes slightly away from each other and then draw the knees in toward your chest. Now hopefully finding a little sensation down in the left glute. Take one more breath. Keep those knees crossed, but release your grab. See if you can tuck the left toes under the right calf. So we've come into those eagle legs, and then left arm under the right, wrap your arms up, or just grab the shoulders, give yourself a little hug. And once you've got your legs and arms in a good position, inhale a nice big breath. Exhale, draw the abdominal muscles in, curl in, pull the elbows and knees together. Inhale to release. Exhale to hug it in. Inhale to release. Exhale to hug it in. Inhale to release. Unwind your arms, unwind your legs, step your feet nice and wide to the outer edges of your mat, and windshield wiper your knees side to side. Beautiful. One more little swish of the knees side to side. And then we're going to pull those knees up towards the shoulders, setting up for a happy baby. So pull those knees up nice and wide. You might be happy in this position, or if it feels good, float the feet up, grab the outer edges of your feet or your toes, maybe even the backs of your thighs. So find a grab that feels good. And then think about letting your shoulders and your tailbone relax down. Take a couple nice deep breaths. If it feels good, find just a little bit of gentle side to side movement, maybe moving through the knees, moving through the ankles, wiggling the toes just a little bit. Cool, take one more little bit of movement here, and then we're gonna find our way into a supine twist. You're gonna hold onto your right knee, let your left leg extend nice and long, and then take that right knee over and across the body, over to the left. Let your right arm open out nice and wide. Take a couple nice big breaths here. If you feel ready, on your next inhale, pull your right knee into your chest, pull the left knee in to meet, draw your knees in a couple of circles, go in one direction. Draw your knees in a couple of circles, go the other way. Awesome, and then hold on to your left knee, send your right leg nice and long, supine twist to the other side. Bring that left knee over and across the body to the right. Left arm opens wide, and then take a couple nice deep breaths here. Take one more breath. Nice, and then when you're ready, pull that left knee into the chest, bring the right knee in to meet, and we're gonna finish strong here. So we're gonna float the heels up. So think about sort of a semi-happy baby position, or almost like a squat. So we've got our knees bent and our butt is back. We're gonna take our arms inside the knees. So we're gonna push our arms out into the knees, and the knees are gonna push into the arms. So you might feel a little shaking sensation in the legs, but we wanna stay nice and strong here. So pushing the arms out, pushing the knees in. We wanna find some activation of the muscles in the legs, inner thighs, outer thighs, and even the hip stabilizing muscles. So push the arms out, push the knees in, nice and strong here. Hold it as long as you can. Maybe hold it there for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release all of that, float your feet up and give everything a nice soft shake. Just shake out your ankles, shake out your legs. Let everything find that nice good wiggle jiggle. And then when you feel good and ready, once you feel like your legs are nice and good and shaken out, float your feet back down to the ground and find a position for your Shavasana that feels like the best position for your body. So maybe constructive rest, maybe reclined cobbler's pose, or maybe that more traditional shape and you walk your feet long. Take your time to find your way there, and then just work out all your little wiggles. Tune in for a moment right down to the tops of the thighs, the front of the hips, the outer sides of the hips, and then your tailbone. So see if you can just tune into that space, and then see if you can just kind of give your hips and your bum a little wiggle. Just kind of wanting to find a nice soft groove for everything to sink and settle into. So we're trying to find a little release of tension that we might be holding in the hips or the butt or the low belly, maybe even the tops of the thighs. So see if you can just kind of find that little wiggle jiggle and let everything soften and loosen up. And then if it feels appropriate, let your eyes close down. Let your breath start to return to its natural rhythm. You always have the option to stay in your Shavasana as long as you like, or as long as your body wants. But if you feel called to do so, just start to find a little bit of gentle movement. Wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. And if your feet are in that bent knee position in constructive rest or in cobbler's pose, think about walking your feet nice and long towards the end of your mat, maybe hip or shoulder width distance apart. We're just going to bring a little movement back into the toes, into the feet. So start by just crunching up your toes, curl them in, and then stretch them up. And then bring that movement into the ankles a little bit. So your knees might bend a little bit, pull your toes in towards your shins, and then stretch your feet long, pointing the toes. And then do that again. Pull the toes in, maybe let your knees bend a little bit, and then point your toes away. One more just like that. Pull the toes in, let your knees bend just a little bit. Point your toes away and then stretch through the legs. Reach your arms up and overhead, a big good morning stretch. Take a nice big giant breath back into your body. Nice. And then in your own way, in your own time, start to find your way up to a comfortable seated position. So maybe you rock and roll up, roll to one side, whatever gets you there and feels the best in your body. Cool. And then once you've found your way up to a comfortable seat, just take a second to kind of wiggle into your sits bones, find a nice tall posture, heart lifting slightly, head lifting slightly, shoulders soften away from the ears. We're going to hug the elbows into the ribs, and you're just going to kind of interlace your fingers and then get a little squeeze in those fingers and think about pulling the fingers apart as the ribs or the elbows pull into the ribs. And then think about dropping the shoulders down. So finding this nice upright, really super tall, engaged posture. And then see if you can keep and maintain with a slight softness that nice, tall, and upright posture, but release your arms and bring your hands to heart center. Close your eyes down, bow your head to your heart. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and for all of your hard work. Breathe in a little extra love and gratitude that you can carry with you through the rest of your day and share with everyone you see. And gently lift up through the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy, happy Thursday.